What's up, man?
Not much. How are you?
Doing good, buddy. How was your weekend?
Not bad, not bad.
Did you watch?
Yep. Yeah. There a little bit of lackluster on the main event, but
Yeah. Main event sucked.
they're not all barn burners.
Yeah, but I really expected that one to kick ass. I had a busy weekend. I had a fun weekend. I sparred Friday night boxing and then got to do jiu-jitsu with a guy Saturday morning. And by the time the fights were coming, I had just got home and cleaned up and felt like I'd exercised, felt like $1,000,000. And when the fight started for the next 6 hours, I was like, this main event's going to be so badass. How have I not been more jacked about it, man? And built it up all night. And when they were walking out, I was like, I wonder if Johnny Walker's going to get dropped like at the very beginning. And I even joked with you about it in text. You were like, blonde Johnny Walker.
Yeah, blonde hair.
So you better dye that goatee, boy, because he's going out. And God damn it, it started bad, it stayed bad, and it ended bad.
It never got better.
Never got better.
No.
And it's hard to say that because imagine being Johnny Walker and looking across at Tiago with a gigantic fucking hammer, full body tattoo, or vice versa. Looking across at, this kid's going to take my fucking career. This is what he's here for.
Right.
I get how
I'm
it's
on a 3-fight losing skid. I can't lose again.
That's what sucked. If he wasn't on a 3-fight skid, I think he would have been
I think so, too.
Throwing more kicks, getting crazy. But he was scared.
He was.
And I don't know what Johnny Walker's deal was. Probably something similar. I can't get dropped here. He hadn't fought in over a year. His last fight was when he knocked out Ryan Spann. In that fight, he got knocked out at the beginning and survived, which was crazy. Mm-hmm. So I could see how you could be fearful, but, two light heavyweights that are probably 225 pounds, you're basically heavyweights. I mean, that's probably like highest knockout rate, that division. I don't know if that's true or not. But there's a lot of killers.
Yeah.
It was just total bummer, man. And I didn't know who won. When it ended, I thought, who the fuck? It's 3 different scores, split decision because I don't fucking know, and it wasn't. It was a UD for Tiago.
Yeah, all judges had it the same, all 48-47.
I didn't score it. I was like taken aback by the whole deal, and I wasn't even paying attention really to, I knew the first round was weird and therefore close. I figured Johnny Walker had the first because Tiago was so gun shy. But after that, I just didn't know. They were all
so slow that there's an argument that could be made in every round that the other person won.
Yeah. Not a lot of strikes. I'd be curious the total strikes thrown in that fight because I know it was low.
Yeah, I would like to know what Johnny's Walker punch rate was.
Oh, yeah, they do.
He just kicked the entire time.
Yeah, they do keep track of stuff like that. They got so many cool stats. But, yeah, he did. He threw a lot of kicks. He threw a couple, like, fancy moves that he knew he wasn't going to land, I guess, to try to get a, that's what you do, man. I mean, all you're doing in that cage is trying to convince the judge that you were winning the fight in that round. I mean, like the TJ Sandhagen fight, how Sandhagen won the first round so strongly and then kind of got it in his head that he was winning even though he had lost a couple rounds in a row on points. Like, there was nothing like that here. There was no gigantic round where a guy could be like, I'm up big. Johnny Walker's coach is same guy that coaches McGregor, John Kavanagh. And, like, going into the 5th, he was like, all right, you're up.
Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing.
Faint like a motherfucker and just keep doing what you're doing. Like, the commentators were going, why the fuck's he saying he's up? Like, I just don't know, And I didn't either. Not disappointed in it. I mean, Tiago's 37. What's he going to do? He's going to make one last run, Johnny Walker, it's good for us if he goes on a streak and wins fights because he's a young guy. And, you think he's got a bright future, but this is his second run. I mean, he fucked it up the first time.
Yeah, this is his second time getting to the top 5.
Yeah.
Fighting a top 5 guy, and this is the second time he lost.
Yeah, he injured himself on doing the worm in the octagon. He injured himself.
Mm-hmm.
And missed a little bit of time, and I think went on like a 3-fight losing streak after that.
Yeah, because he came back and fought Corey Anderson.
Right.
Corey Anderson started it all.
Right. And it's just he hadn't won since till like the Ryan Spann fight last year. And then took a year off after that. So, I mean, I know he's like living in Ireland now, training there, Kavanagh's place, but I don't know why. I don't know what his plan is. I don't know who you put him up against. I mean,
Yeah, he's in a tough spot.
He's in a tough spot.
It is interesting to see what they'll do with him next.
Yeah, I agree.
I do wish that that there was a major shot that happened in the 5th round, the most significant strike of the whole fight.
Tiago landed it, right?
Yeah. I wish that would have happened earlier in the fight.
Yeah.
Just to see who ran with that.
I think he would have ran with it.
Would Tiago have ran with it?
I think so.
Or would Johnny Walker have ran with it, saying, all right, I got hit clean?
Yeah, it was the biggest shot of the fight. If he would have done that like in round 2, he'd have been like, fuck yeah, he ain't going to make it 15 more minutes. He would have went.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know who would have ran with that if they would have both opened up, because everybody knows that Johnny Walker's weakness is his chin.
Yeah.
This is his weakness, and it held up.
It did, man.
But now how many of those would it have held up to? We don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious how many shots he actually took, like significant strikes, because his chin did hold up, you know? Well, but did he only take 29 significant strikes, or was it like 80? I know it wasn't a super high number, but...
No, it was definitely a low number.
I don't know. Normally, with something like this, like, oh, it's no big deal, man. Kevin Holland was in the co-main. But it ended up being a very awkward deal, too. Like, the whole main card was just weird. Like, the first fight on the main card was a couple of nobodies, and there was a big knockout, and it was awesome. Then you went decision, got to the co-main where Kevin Holland's a big fan favorite, dude. He was who I was jacked to watch. I mean, all week, looking forward to the card was just like, Kevin Holland's back.
Kevin Holland's back. Let's see how his wrestling is. He's been working with DC. Let's see how it is.
Yep. He's been working with Johnny Hendricks. That's what that whole Hendricks stand joke's about, is he's been training with Johnny Hendricks like nonstop. Now, he did do the DC stuff, like special trip, live in LA for a week or something and train, but like Johnny Hendricks, I guess, is where he's based at right now. And he defended a few takedowns, but the fight only went fucking maybe 2 minutes in, and he got headbutted and flash KO'd and went down. He's such a tough fucker that he started rolling around immediately, and the other guy jumped on him, of course he did. And he defended a couple submissions and then was standing up, and the guy was on his back choking the life out of him, and he tapped. But I mean, there's no doubt in anyone's mind that if it wasn't for the headbutt knockout, it would not have happened.
Right.
No disrespect to Kyle Dawkins. He may have ended up grinding and doing that same thing, but you weren't doing it in the first round, dude. Kevin had defended the whole time. I don't even know if they went down, but if they did, they were right back up.
I think they dropped to a knee once.
And Kevin Holland is so badass. He's going a little bit better, huh, DC? Yelling to the commentators. I mean, he does it every fight, we know. But he's having a conversation while Chris Dawkins is doing everything he can to take him down. There's just no doubt in my mind Kevin would have bested him. Now, there was a very awkward get-together after the fight. It was a tap-out. It was a submission. But, when the headbutt happened, the ref had given a signal, the new signal for, hey, let's check this replay. It was obviously a headbutt. It obviously affected the outcome of the fight. Well, then you got him. I can't remember the ref. Excuse me.
Herb Dean was the other one that stepped in.
Yeah, Herb Dean is the head, referee guy that came in and got involved, but that's not who was reffing the fight.
No.
So the guy that was reffing the fight, Herb Dean, and then several of Nevada State Athletic Commission guys are in a huddle, and someone's mic's hot. So you can hear him saying shit that we shouldn't have heard. Now, I don't remember the specifics, but it was like, just leave it as it is. Like, Herb Dean would get up in the ref's ear and, listen, this is up to you. Don't let anyone else affect your opinion. Whatever you feel like doing. Like, it was very obvious, in my opinion, that everyone at UFC was like, hey, don't give this a submission loss to Kevin Holland. He's our next star, And after 7-8 minutes of debate, it was ruled a no contest. And it was a bit controversial, but I think it should have been. I mean,
yeah, hell, it knocked him out.
Kevin would have probably won that fight. I mean, in my opinion, my humble opinion, Kevin Holland was going to win the fight, whether it was a 3-round decision or he's going to knock his ass out. I mean, Kyle Dawkins is just not the same. He may be a great up-and-comer and 5 fights from now be a fucking savage, but I just don't think he is now. Luckily, they rebooked it. So it happened, October 3rd? 2nd? They rebooked it for
October 2nd.
They rebooked it for November 13th. So that's about 5 weeks away. It's a fight night. I doubt it's a main event. I'm sure all the cards are lined up and stuff. But just the fact that they're getting it back on quick.
Not to cut you off, but isn't that the Max Holloway, Yair Rodriguez?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's the week after the Usman pay-per-view. So, yeah, that'll be cool. Even better. But now there'll be this weird kind of tension to this fight because now, I'm a Kevin Holland fan, so I'm thinking more in his light. So I'm worried now. Is he going to get in his own head and be like, man, that motherfucker got me? Like, even though all that drama shit happened. After the fight, Kevin was like, I don't make excuses, man. Motherfucker got me. But, if that would have been a street fight, he would have got me. But, it is what it is. So, it was a loss in his head. Is that going to affect him? Does he think he should have rolled through him and knocked him out in the first 60 seconds? Because I expected that. Mm-hmm. I expected a quick. It's what he does. Jacare, fucking, who's the dude with the highlight kick? Joaquin Buckley.
Yeah. And he did that in the third round.
Yeah, but he knocks people out. He perseveres. And that Buckley fight was like, I knew who Kevin Holland was, but I wasn't a huge fan yet. That was a back and forth.
Yeah, it was real close. And that just shows that at any point in time.
Yeah, it was real close.
Put you to sleep.
Yeah, he was not dominating. It was not an easy fight. It was back and forth like, holy shit. And then, bink. It was just like that. It would just look like a straight, like not a hard punch. And the dude dropped. It's what he does. So, I don't know how it's going to affect him. I hope not at all. I hope he comes out and smokes the guy. But it was definitely a shitty co-main event. The way it all went down. The announcers didn't know what was going on. So Brendan Fitzgerald was saying, like, looks like they're going to give this a submission victory right as they announced that it was a no contest. Made it even more awkward. And it was also an awkward night of calling fights because it was just DC and Brendan instead of three guys. There's usually three people, Mm-hmm. So it was already like a kind of quiet night, and there'd be little lulls where no one was saying anything, which I don't mind. It's better than, Dominic Cruz and Bisping arguing sometimes. Sometimes there's too many cooks in the kitchen, mm-hmm. But it was just a weird night, and, the Kevin Holland stuff bummed me out. Then the main event left an even worse taste in my mouth. Nico Price grinded out a decision like he always seems to do. Cowboy Oliveira, who I thought was like 38. Apparently he's only 32 or 33 years old. So he's not some old beaten dog like I thought. He's been in so many fucking wars. I just think of him as like Cowboy Cerrone type.
Right.
I'm sure it's the nicknames, but I think of him as.
And he does. He's an active fighter. He's all the time fighting.
Yeah. And I thought it'd be a finish either way. I thought someone was going to get caught, but it was a good fight. And then the Jotko Serkinov fight was a total disappointment. I really thought that Krzysztof Jotko guy was like a knockout machine. And I think he is. But fucking Misha Serkinov looked like a weight class above him.
Yeah.
It was a weird fight. Now, he couldn't get Jotko down. They stood and had an awkward exchange the entire fight. But, it was just letdown after letdown. But I don't know. They can't always be bangers. There's 700 fighters on the roster, not, what small percentage of them are the stars,
Right.
The stars are like the 1%. So we still had big names. We still had some good fights. There were several knockouts, on the prelims. A couple lady fight knockouts.
Yeah, Casey O'Neill.
What do you think about Antonina?
Disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah,
I hate that for her. Like we've talked a little bit off air, like your sister is the GOAT.
The GOAT.
And you're losing prelim fights.
I know, man.
Like that,
and always at the same time because they live and train together. They're always fighting on the same card or like a week apart. And they like live together in a van. Their life right now is pretty cool. They're Russian. And they're like cross country traveling the United States for years now, a couple years at least, training at different gyms, and she's always like at the Grand Canyon or just some new site she doesn't get to see because she's from far away. And they like live to train and train to live. So imagine living that life and your sister's the best on the fucking planet Earth, your little sister, and you can't get a fucking win on the prelims. Now, Casey's a tough, undefeated lady. Not dogging her. And I think Antonina might have actually won her last fight. But if you were to look at her last five, she might be 1-4 or 2-3. It's not great.
No.
It's got to be even worse. Your sister carrying around fucking 10 pounds of gold, like at all times, posing with it. The biggest knock on Valentina's resume is the losses to Nunes that everyone says she won.
Right.
So she's got a pretty flawless resume.
Yeah, she has 3 losses on her record. 2 of them. 2 out of the 3 are to Nunes.
That are questionable.
And they're controversial.
And I actually don't know about the other one.
I don't either.
I'd be very curious.
I think it was pre-UFC.
Hey, everyone loses. I mean, Cejudo lost to Demetrius Johnson. Got finished.
Yeah.
And then, boom, next thing you know, he ran through him and everybody else.
Cejudo also lost to Joe B.
That's right. That's right. So
controversial fight, but he did lose.
Yeah, and Cejudo definitely peaked after these fights. I mean, he was a wrestler who was learning MMA and just, I mean, he became what he became, which we'll talk about later. But everyone loses, so no big deal. That's the cool thing about the UFC or MMA in general is, like, you know, in boxing, Anthony Joshua just lost, and it's like it's over for him. Probably the top 5 baddest motherfuckers on the planet, and they're acting like he's dead. In boxing, when you lose, you're no superstar anymore. It's weird. UFC, some of the biggest stars of all time. I mean, look at Conor. Mm-hmm. He, like, loses all the time, you know? It's just, it's allowed in MMA, and it's really cool. It's pretty cool. But, I mean, that's all I got for the card that we just had, and it was not super great. Jared Gordon, I like him, but, you know, he grinded out another decision. Betch Correia had her last fight, a retirement fight, which was, you know, she's a legend in her own right, I guess, you know, been around for a long time, but she got dominated by Carol Rosa. Jamie Malarkey knocked out Devontae Smith, which shocked me. Devontae Smith, I thought, was going to run through him like a train. I think I put a little money on him by finish. And he fucked Malarkey up in the first round. I was like, oh, yeah, about to cash this ticket. And the dude just don't stop. Malarkey finished him, I think, in the next round. Yeah, round 2.
Yep.
So, you know, some good fights, some good people to look forward to. But, okay, let's get this weekend out of the way because it's another kind of bummer. And then we'll talk about some of the news. Mackenzie Dern and Marina Rodriguez are the main event. That's a strawweight ladies fight. The original main event was Misha versus who? Yeah, Misha was supposed to fight somebody.
Is it Ketlin Vieira?
I have no. I'd be lying if I said, yeah, that's it, man. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was
Misha pulled out of a fight.
I'm pretty sure it was Ketlin Vieira.
Which, even with Tate as the main event, this card's a little barren. But both of those girls are badass. Mm-hmm. Marina had a badass knockout her last fight, and I think she's won 5 fights in a row. I think. Don't quote me. And Mackenzie has won 3 fights in a row. Now, if I've got that wrong, then it's reversed. One of them's on a 5 and one of them's on a 3. But they're both finishers, which is not always the case in ladies MMA. And, you know, I prefer there to be fucking, like, Costa Vittori after the fight, but it'll be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, definite striker versus grappler to a T on this one. I mean, this is prime striker versus grappler.
Yeah.
One is going to be doing everything in their power to keep it on the feet, and the other is going to do everything in their power.
Over and over.
Going to run and jump on her and pull guard.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. Whoever can implement their game plans definitely.
I don't think it's going 5.
No, definitely not.
Because of their history of finishing, because their main event spot, neither of them would ever have this under regular circumstances. It's because of a fight pullout that it's happening. They're both going to go hard. They're going to give it their all, and someone's getting choked or knocked out, and I can't wait to see it. Co-main, we got Randy Brown versus Jared Gooden. I just don't have much to say about it, man. For me, I said earlier, the biggest fighter on the card is Phil Hawes, who is like an up-and-coming kind of nobody right now. He is a 185-pound knockout machine. They call him Megatron. He's on the main card versus Deron Wynn. That's that 4-foot-tall wrestler, DC's buddy. Yeah. So that's striker versus grappler as well.
Tim Elliott's on the card.
And he's a wrestler. I don't know about that Matheus Nicolau.
I don't know much about him.
I feel like he's a striker. I think he is. So it looks like a bunch of going to be some interesting fights. It's going to be fun. I know that they're off next week, and then we got Vittori Costa, and then it's the pay-per-view time.
I thought next week was Holly Holm fight.
Is it?
On the 16th.
You said that earlier. You told me that earlier today.
Yeah, I thought it was.
And I had looked up upcoming events. Well, shit, you're right. Holly Holm versus Norma Dumont. You're right. Andrei Arlovsky's fighting. What was I thinking, bro? There was an Instagram post earlier that, Ramazan Emiev, that one guy, Emiev. Bad motherfucker. There was an Instagram post earlier that was like, October in prime time. It was like John Anik, and it had 3 dates on it. And it had the 9th, the 23rd, and the 30th. Now, maybe they were just highlighting certain fighters, but I was like, oh, shit, there is no fight next week. So it's going to be, there's going to be a rough go these next couple weeks either way. Now, we'll always have shit to talk. You know, there's plenty of news, and we love every single fight, but, you know, not a lot of fanfare going on.
Right.
Small card, 9 fights. Not too jazzed about it. The biggest fight this weekend for sure is Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, which I know is boxing, but it's a gigantic fight, man. It's when I first got into this a couple years ago, I've told the story a few times, but right after my first ever pay-per-view, I watched John Jones Reyes. There was like a lull, you know, there was like 2 weeks without a fight. And in the midst of all that, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder fought. Well, I'm jumping into combat sports, got all the pay-per-view channels, so I checked it out, and it was fucking awesome, you know. The first fight was a draw. The first fight's got an epic story because it was like a back and forth, and I don't know the details of this because I'm a super MMA fan, not a super big boxing fan, but I think it was like a 12-round fight. And I believe in the 12th and final round, Deontay Wilder knocked down Tyson Fury, and everyone thought it was over. And they say he, like, rose up like The Undertaker. I've seen the video. I mean, he does. He gets up like he wasn't supposed to get up, barely makes the 10 count, and dominates the entire last 2.5 minutes of the round. He just fucks him up the rest of the time. And it was a draw. Then they fought again. This is the one that I watched. And Tyson just fucked him up the entire time. I mean, dominated him like, I don't remember what round, but eight or 9 rounds in, like the coach throws in the towel. He's like on his feet in the corner. Fury's just like boom, 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 combo, just not stopping. And they threw in the towel, and it was a TKO. And after the fact, Deontay Wilder, who is not a great boxer, but they say he's got like the biggest knockout power of all time, you know. He got all fucked up. He fired his coach like the next day. He came out in some crazy fancy like uniform that looked like armor and said like that weighed 80 pounds and my legs gave out before I got to the ring that night. He made all these crazy excuses. Said Fury packed his boxing gloves with like egg weights and shit. It was pitiful, man. And then he just kind of went into hiding. Well, Tyson Fury is the biggest, hottest thing since sliced bread, all over TV, training, going to fuck up Anthony Joshua. Well, Deontay pulls the rematch clause in the boxing contract and wants the trilogy. So the fights took 2 years to happen, but I think it's going to be, it's going to be huge, and I think it's going to be awesome. I'm going to watch it. I hope Tyson Fury knocks him out because he's like the coolest motherfucker, dude. He's like so open about suicide and his history with depression and how he came out clean on the other fucking side and said, hey, if you think you're a head case and there ain't no hope for you, you're crazy. Look at me, you know? And he just has a great story, but he's also a brash, outspoken, call you a cocksucker to your face. I mean, he's like the Connor of boxing. I mean, he is. And I can't wait to see it. Now, the deal is, Tyson Fury is like the best boxer on planet Earth, technique-wise. He just happens to be a 250-pound monster. Mm-hmm. Deontay has like that left, whatever hand it is. But apparently he can turn anybody's lights off. And there's like Brendan Schaub's picking Deontay to knock him out. He thinks he's going to catch him. And you know it happens.
Yeah.
It can happen to anybody. So I guess it's going to be a coin flip. You know, they're definitely like, they hate each other. They're enemies. This is going to be like a war from the get-go. But Tyson's a smart dude. I don't think he'll fall into the trap. I don't think he'll go out there swinging like crazy. I think he'll pick him apart again, and I hope so. That'll be on after the UFC card. So I think I'll get to watch both. But I know we do MMA, but fuck it, dude. I watch boxing whenever there's a big fight. I watch Bellator when there's a big fight. I prefer UFC.
For sure, yeah.
Speaking of Bellator, did you see the
Diego Lima?
What about that?
Diego Lima and MVP rematched.
Oh, they did rematch.
Yeah, and MVP won this time
by decision.
Yeah. I believe it was a split even.
It was a split, and he immediately called for a rematch. He's like, I can finish that dude. And they're like, you're up for a title fight now. And he's like, no, I want to fight him again. I know I can finish that dude. And I thought, that is so badass, but take your title fight, bro. I mean, MVP, he was like superstar, like Anderson Silva Jr., and then caught that bad knockout to Lima. And not that he went away, but it just had to climb back up the ladder. And here he is at the peak again, and I think he should take the belt. But what I was getting at was Pitbull relinquished the 155-pound belt.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Well, I told you like a month or two ago that I noticed Pitbull was number one champion, and number one contender was Patricky. I was like, what do they do? You think they'd fight? And you're like, I don't know. I doubt it. We just don't know. We don't follow. Well, Pitbull relinquished today, and Scott Coker announced that next fight Patricky had, which is a rematch with some nobody named Peter Queally or something, which Queally won by TKO like 2 months ago. They fought like 2 months ago. Patricky beat the fuck out of this guy in the first round. This guy was elbowing from the bottom desperately and gashed Patricky's eye. The doctor stopped the fight because the cut was so big.
I remember that, yeah. I do remember
so
that.
So Patricky's already beat this guy, and somehow now they're rematching for the belt because his brother's giving it up. I don't even remember what Pitbull said. Something about, here's what he said. He said, I've held both these belts for so fucking long. He said, I only care about one thing, and that's A.J. McKee, the guy that took my 145-pound title, so they can have the 55. There's one fight I'm having, and so I guess him and AJ are going to rematch for the belt. But, it's good for Bellator to get a little juice.
Yeah, that'd be good for Bellator.
Competition's good for everybody. The UFC is hotter when these other brands are hotter. I mean, it's just a proven fact. Like, we want Bellator to steal a couple big fighters and us start tuning in on Friday nights because now it's Yoel Romero and Sean O'Malley and they got Dustin Poirier now. We want there to be a reason to watch it. So, I don't know. I'm excited to see Pitbull fight him again. I called the AJ thing. I just knew it. I bet on him. Now, I didn't bet first round finish, which was like plus 1,600, but that AJ McKee, dude, he's awesome. He like invents moves in the cage. That McKeotine, he had some dude in a weird position and ended up doing like a shoulder crank from bottom. There's no name for it. They just call it the McKeotine because, But I don't know. They also changed their main events to 5 rounds, which is past due. So if it's not a title fight, if it's not a title fight in Bellator, it's 3. Whether it's the main event of the evening, it don't matter. Well, the Yoel Romero drama,
right?
Apparently he got dominated. I didn't watch. He lost the fight, but when the dude went to the center to like get the scorecards, he like was acting like he was ready for round 4. And even Dana made a comment like, "Hey, enjoy working with him." No, he said no hard feelings with Yoel, but of course he thought it was fucking 5 rounds. That's a Yoel Romero thing to do, Which it is. He's always got a little bit of weird shit going on.
There's always something with him.
I know.
Sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Sometimes win the belt, but missed weight by 0.2.
Right.
Back before they had the allowance. That motherfucker. It's always something with that dude. So hopefully Bellator starts getting a little juicier for us, and we'll tune in a little more, which will make us more informed on the sport, and it's good all around. Okay, so news. We got, what are you most excited to go over?
Oh, man. Probably the Henry thing.
Yeah, it's the best.
For sure.
Triple C is coming out of retirement. If Dana will let him to fight Volkanovski for the 45-pound title.
I hope it happens.
How do you feel?
About who wins? Or
just about the whole fight? Yeah, who's going to win? So
how I feel about the situation, I actually really like that a lot.
I do
45s, you've got Max, you've got Volk, and you got Ortega.
Giga, who shouldn't even be in the combo.
Yeah.
But that's your 4 that you got.
So throw someone new in there, somebody that's going to talk shit.
Sell the fuck out of the
You're
fight.
going to buy it.
Bro, he's already sold me on the fight, and it's not even signed.
Yeah, you're going to buy it just like you would a Conor fight. You either want to buy it to watch him win because you're a fanboy, or you're going to buy it to hope to watch this guy get his head knocked off.
Because he's the king of cringe.
Because you hate him.
That's right.
Yeah, I love how he just did, he's always talking about, I know it's cringy, but.
Yeah.
And then he goes on this big spiel, and I love it.
And his bend the knee thing, it went from a catchphrase to like, it's just a thing he says, like the way we say hi. He was just going on a rant about how he's going to make Alex Volkanovski bend the knee, and then he kept talking. He said, listen, if I lose, I'm taking that risk. If he makes me bend the knee, he just like says it all the time, and it's so fucking funny hearing him go like this motherfucker is obsessed with having, he's the Olympic wrestling champion, youngest of all time. He's flyweight and bantamweight champion, won and defended both titles. In his wake, he left Mighty Mouse Johnson, Dominic Cruz,
Marlon Moraes in his prime.
TJ Dillashaw, Marlon Moraes in his prime. Dillashaw on EPO. That's the fight he flunked for, and he knocked him out in 30 seconds. I mean, the dude's a king. And the Dominic Cruz fight, now Cruz is the best bantamweight of all time, like according to a lot of people. There was a accidental clash of heads, and Cejudo was fucking busted bad. And I remember having him in a bet going, oh, no, they're going to stop the fight. It's so bad. And within 20, 30, 40 seconds, he knocked Cruz out. Now, there was controversy there, which I don't agree with. Cejudo was pummeling him. We've seen plenty of TKOs where a guy doesn't go out all the way. The whole drunk Keith Peterson.
Yeah.
That's the fight where Cruz was like, he smelled like alcohol and cigarettes. I don't want him reffing any more of my fights. Like, come on, you little bitch. Like, that stuff bothers me so much. But
I love the fact that this is one of the things that sells me the most. Get back to the serious part of it. When I'm breaking down and getting serious into it, I love the fact that history could be made.
Yeah.
And, so he could be the first ever 3-division champ in the UFC. And it's just crazy to think about who else could even have the chance of that.
There was only one other guy that was an option, and it was Conor.
It was Conor.
And it was all thought about after the fact. Well, he's already had 45, 50, and he's fighting at 70 now. What if... And then he beat Cowboy and nothing else.
Right.
There's never really been a guy actually pushing.
This has never been a huge thing. Like,
how many double champs have there ever been? 5? 4?
Yeah, somewhere in there. 5.
DC, Conor, Cejudo.
Amanda
Nunes. So there's been 4 ever. And he could be the first 3-division champ. It's insane. Yeah. It's insane.
Oh, GSP was a double champ.
At the same time?
Oh, no, not same time, but he was 2-division champ.
Yeah, he won the 85 belt like 4 years after he
3
retired.
years after he retired.
Yeah. So I don't know if he counts in that.
No, I'm just meaning people who have held
2 divisions.
Yeah, I know Randy Couture had done it.
Oh, yeah. There's several who have done it at different times in their career. But to be a simultaneous double champ is a very rare thing. Now, Cejudo's not current champion, but he relinquished both belts. He never lost them. Same thing TJ's always saying nowadays. I didn't lose my belt. Well, you got suspended for fucking steroids, and you had to let it go. But, dude, he said if he won the 45 belt from Volk, he would defend it. He said he loves the Max Holloway fight. He said, I don't really see anyone else there. And he even cracked a joke about Charles Oliveira. Now, I don't know if that's serious. He's walking around at 165 pounds. I heard Daniel Cormier talking shit today, saying Henry Cejudo's never weighed more than 165 in his whole life, and that's when he was all ballooned up, like saying like not fighting and fat. Well, Cejudo's in the gym training Figueiredo. He's training Zhang Weili for her Thug Rose fight, and he's in shape. Now, he's not cut, but he's in shape, and he weighs 165 right now. What's Volk weigh? He fights at 45.
Yeah.
He don't weigh much more than 165.
Can't.
And he's only 2 inches taller. This is a fucking fight. I mean, it's not like he's going to be tiny. It's a real fucking fight. It won't be like when Holloway fought Poirier at lightweight because he looked tiny. It just was a title fight that was Dustin's for the taking because he was the oversized fucking so weird with his wide body.
Yeah,
I mean,
real wide shoulders.
Poirier is already weird, or already big, but I just think he could do it. I think if we've agreed off air that, the Holloway fight's just terrible timing.
Mm-hmm.
He's fighting a few weeks after Volk just defended. So Volk's going to be ready to go before the winner of that fight's ready to go. It is the only time where you can be okay with a guy coming off retirement, cutting the line. Normally it's like, what about all these contenders? Who?
Exactly, who?
Who's going to stand up to Henry and say, I deserve it more than you? Giga would say it right now, but no, dude, you're the new guy. You've got your whole career. Cejudo retired. He's willing to come out a year and a half later for this one fight. It's a super fight. It is. It's a super fight.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's huge. And dude, I can't wait. And I'd pick Henry. I'm rolling with Henry. And I just gained a lot of respect for Volk. Like, he kind of won me over with the Ortega fight. Like, oh, he's a nice guy. He's respectful. He admitted that he was in major danger. He persevered. He dominated. He's moving over here to the States, I don't dislike him anymore.
He kind of puts me a lot in the mind of Usman. I don't really like him, but god damn, he's good.
Yeah, Usman's growing on me too, just because he's so good.
You can't lie and say that he's not good.
He's just so good. Now, I'm still rolling with Colby.
Oh, for sure.
Totally rooting for Colby. But won't be surprised he's been sleeping everybody. He's been knocking them all out. The Masvidal, you can say what you want, whether he deserved it or not. He's still a 170-pound superstar. He fucked him up. Gilbert, do you remember the build-up to the Gilbert fight? Oh, I've heard from a guy that used to watch him train that Gilbert's going to get him. And the whole world was like, holy fuck, Usman's met his match. Then the fight happened. He fucking knocked him out. He's an unstoppable force, dude. I hope he has a great challenge. Like, if Colby can't get him, I hope there's some sort of huge super fight for Usman. Like, not GSP, not, Khabib would be awesome if he came back for
that'd be awesome.
Double champ status, dude. Holy fuck. And he's a big-ass 55. He could barely make weight 90% of his career.
Maybe in a couple years, or not even really that long, we'll see Hamzat up there.
I hope so.
Yeah, he's fighting Li Jingliang.
Big fight coming up. Yeah. That'll be, we already talked about that. That'll be I think we both agreed, Li Jingliang is a beast.
Yeah.
Whether he's ranked 9 or whatever, you're
talking. He's ranked 11, but
on the planet Earth.
Yeah.
Out of 7 billion, let's say half of those are men. This motherfucker's ranked 11th.
I watched what he did to Santiago Ponzinibbio, where even the odds makers had him.
Yep.
Santiago is like a minus 400.
That was his comeback fight, right?
Yeah.
2 years off, doing nothing but training.
I had Ponzinibbio on every parlay, and Lee came out and
whooped his ass.
Yeah.
Finished him, right?
Yeah, knocked him out.
So if Chimaev does to him what we've seen him do to these, Gerald Meerschaert of the world, no disrespect, Gerald, I know you watch. I love him, but if he does it to Li Jingliang, dude, he has every right to be like, when do I get to fight for a belt? When do I get a title eliminator?
Yeah, give me someone in the top 5.
And now that he's not flopping back from 85 to 70, now you can go make a run for the 170 belt. Let's say he does it. And then you can be like, I'll fight Stylebender for the 185 and really bulk up a little bit and do it. Now, it sucks that there's a 15-pound jump because, like we said, 10 pounds is a lot easier to do, but future's bright for that dude. But Usman just seems unstoppable, but if Henry can take the 45 belt and even get people to even consider letting him fight for 55, he's done his job. He don't ever have to fight for the 55 belt. If he wins the 45, he's like the GOAT. 3-division champion, Olympic gold medalist. What's he always call himself? The greatest combat sports athlete of all time. Yeah, that's what he is. He's the greatest combat sports athlete of all time, dude. I love Triple C. I love the cringe. I love the whole story behind it. That they were going to cut the division and said there was no exciting fighters at 125, and so he did the whole personality, the whole bringing out the snake and all the drama, and it worked. It saved the division. He went on to hold the multiple belts and beat the GOATs. Mighty Mouse is considered the flyweight GOAT.
Oh, yeah.
So him and Cruz, they were nothing. He's a beast. So that was the news I was most looking forward to talking about, because I just can't believe we live in a world where so long after he was gone, he might be back. And for a belt, but not getting back one of your... It's not as exciting if he's fighting Pyotr Yan in Russia, even though he said he'd do that too.
Yeah, even though he did say
he said, I'll fight
right.
Volkanovski in Australia. Dana, I'll sell the fuck out of it. I'll fight Pyotr Yan in Russia. Let's do it. I'll beat him there. Like, this motherfucker has some high self-belief, and I love it, dude. He's got a new show with the Schmo. I can't think of what they call it. I think it's called the Triple C and Schmo Show. It's got no subscribers. I mean, when you're on their page, it looks like you're on our page. It's just they just started it, you know. But I've watched both their episodes and get a good laugh. They're short, 20 minutes. It's funny. They got like a segment called Pillow Talk. You know, he's always got the pillows with the people's faces on it and shit. So can't wait for that. I hope it happens. I hope Dana White lets it happen. The question will be money. Like, Henry wants paid. That's the only reason he retired. He started calling people out a month after he retired, and Dana said, hey, he didn't want to fight. No, you know he wants the money fights. Well, that ain't how it works. So that was what he was saying a year ago. I hope he does. I hope he says, hey, you'll both get pay-per-view points. We'll do it like a Conor-Dustin fight. You can both have $5 million. Let's do it. Biggest fight of the year, and it'll be fucking like February. So, Francis and Ciryl Gane have a date. That's the heavyweight title unifier. January 22, UFC 270. Francis is already talking shit, saying it's not a title unifier. It's just, I'm giving a number one contender a shot. So he's still got bad blood. His manager came out and said, oh, we're glad we got a date. Francis has been ready to defend for a while now. Like, you know, the drama where he wouldn't fight in August. So I'm starting to not like Ngannou, but of course that would happen. He looks like an unstoppable freak of nature, and he just got the belt, and I'm starting to hate him. I'm going to have to watch this motherfucker win for 2, 3, 4 years. I mean, lifespans are short in the UFC, but...
Yeah, especially at heavyweight.
He could do it for a while. I mean, who's going to beat him? If Ciryl Gane can't piece him up...
Yeah, who wins? I mean, who can beat him if he wins?
It ain't Curtis Blades. It ain't Jairzinho Rosenstrike. It ain't Stipe. DC ain't coming out to do it. I mean... Who is there? One of these young studs we don't pay attention to yet? Is there? That was Ciryl Gane. 6 months ago, I didn't really know who he was. I had seen one of his fights, like on a prelim card. He had a tattoo I noticed, and he won a decision.
Yeah, I remember one of the first fights we really noticed him was the Junior Dos Santos fight.
That's the one. Mm-hmm. That was the finish. The awkward
elbow,
side of the head. Yeah. That's where we started. Yeah, you're right. But now... He's under the lights, and it's like, oh, his technique and his striking, and people are picking him to beat Francis.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean outpoint him and survive the power shots, or does that mean finish Francis? I don't know what it means. Well, how many times have we seen Francis lose? Just the Stipe fight?
Stipe, you can say whatever you want about Derek Lewis.
Derek Lewis, that's right.
That's a gray area.
Yeah, worst fight in UFC history, supposedly, but
it is on his record as a loss.
He lost a decision. So, you know, I don't know. I can't imagine Ngannou going to sleep on fucking TV in the octagon. I can't imagine anyone doing that to him. But I guess maybe this is the guy if anyone's gonna.
Yeah.
I hate Ciryl Gane, the boring motherfucker, but I dare you to try to make this a boring fight. Derek Lewis let you do it.
Yeah. Francis is going to bull rush you.
Fuck yeah.
He's going to blitz.
If you've seen the Jairzinho Rosenstrike highlight, anybody, you know. I mean, he came out and threw 9 punches in 5 seconds, and just one of them landed. And it killed the motherfucker.
No technique behind it. This was a high school locker room swinging for the fucking fences.
That's right.
And one of them hit.
And Jairzinho ain't been the same since. Let's be real. He's on a bit of a losing streak. So the motherfucker can change lives, man. He can. He's a beast, and I like Gane for what he is, like a talented striker, a good UFC heavyweight. But you know, I don't want to see him holding the belt and outpointing people at the heavyweight. Heavyweight champ's supposed to be baddest man on the fucking planet. For fucking years, they called Mike Tyson the baddest man on the planet. Well, why not Roy Jones Jr.? Because he was the heavyweight champion, the big one, you know. So I don't know if Gon's gonna be a savage like Francis. Like Stipe had a lot of finishes. He doesn't get the credit. I know he's got wrestling and stuff, but he's a knockout machine. That's what we deserve at the heavyweight belt. It'd be a knockout machine. Now that John Jones is out of the picture, this is your big heavyweight fight.
It is.
I mean, this is it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, if Francis wins, what's next? There'll be something, but nothing exciting for right now. If Gon wins, I guess you can do, the guys Francis has beat, but are they going to be good fights? Blades versus Gon. Are you even excited?
No.
Me either.
I guess we could do Stipe versus Gon.
Nah, I'd like that. But I love Stipe.
I know.
I started loving him after he retired. It's not after he retired, but after he lost the belt, excuse me. Like, I rooted against him in the DC fights, and then as that Francis fight came, I thought, I hate this motherfucker. I hope Stipe kills him. And it was bad. So, to see Stipe get it back, Gon's his best shot. Mm-hmm. Gon's his best shot. So,
yeah, for sure.
Definitely rooting for Gon. Now, that same night, what would you say in the other title?
All right, so that's really interesting. We'll keep this updated when we find out more. But that's also the same date that it was rumored that Izzy was supposed to fight Whitaker the second time.
Right.
That is the same date.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen anything on it about that in the last couple of days.
The reason that he's hung up on that is because Stylebender is a pay-per-view headline every time.
Right.
And heavyweight title is a pay-per-view headline every time.
Yeah, so how I mean, obviously you have to have the heavyweights. You got to have your baddest man on the planet.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
So if they're both on that same night still, Stylebender Whitaker is the co-main.
Yeah.
Wow. That blows my hair back.
But I just don't see, like I said on the way up here, to fans, that's incredible.
Yeah.
To have,
what a card.
Who cares?
They won't even look at the other fights.
Yeah.
What a main card.
Who cares who's where? But from a marketing standpoint, that's interesting.
Yep. Like I said on the way here, especially if there's any card nearby it that is lackluster like we've got right now, you put both of them on the same night and you're going to have, if there's anything weak around it, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because how do you not have Izzy as the main event? How do you not have, your heavyweights have to be.
Right.
You're the baddest man on the planet, but how do you not have Israel Adesanya? So
now,
that's just an interesting
We've got a situation coming up where there's 2 pay-per-views a week apart, so one of them's free because they don't want to hear the fans go ape shit. You could do something. If you did something similar there, you're still not charging for one of them. Why not let one of them be like a fight night main event? Didn't they say, like over the summer, didn't I say something like, I read that they're going to start having title fights on fight nights sometimes, like to try to,
Yeah.
Because the people deserve it. Not everyone gets to watch every pay-per-view like you and I do. I mean, there are guys that are hardcore fans that watch every fight up until where you have to order, Split them up.
Yeah, for sure.
I think so, too.
I don't think, I would love it, of course, but I don't think it's a good idea to have them on the same card.
And I'm very curious what the other 3 main card fights will be that night.
Yeah.
Is it going to be maybe a ladies title or just 3 decent fights or, I don't know. Now, of course, I'm not going to bitch. If it happens, woo.
Right. Yeah, from a fan standpoint, this is amazing.
But very curious.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only other thing I got for now is that Paddy Pimblett, who's a big sensation right now, he tweeted out contract signed. So someone had called him out the other day, and it made a little news, and I can't remember who that was.
Yeah, I remember
but
that.
I wonder if, because he didn't announce the opponent. It was Jared Flash Gordon.
That's it.
After the decision win. Yeah. He did kind of an awkward Paddy chant in the cage, and it was kind of douchey, but, whatever you got to do, man. I've been watching that guy, travel to Abu Dhabi and grind and suffer and lives in a little apartment in New York City, and he probably wanted to make it. Mm-hmm. The Paddy Pimblett fight helps, so I get it. But you better do something more than ride the guy's fucking back and win a decision, Which I hate to say, it takes so much to do this shit. Like, we both know, like TJ, I heard TJ Dillashaw say today, you get hurt 100 times more often training for the fight than you do in the actual fight. The fans see the fight, but not that you sprung your ankle 5 times and broke 2 fingers and a toe and something's wrong with your quad and even just fucking around the little bit that I do, I know what he's talking about with like, oh man, my quads are killing me. Like something's wrong. I ate like 5 leg kicks and something feels wrong. Like I can't imagine when they do it 3 times a day, 6 days a week, like the pain you go through to grind. So I'm sure the dude's looking for a break, and maybe Patty's the way to do it, but I don't know. There'll be some better stuff coming up. I mean, we got just a couple weeks. We got back-to-back pay-per-views, free pay-per-view. We got this big boxing fight this weekend.
Multiple title fights coming up.
Yeah, dude. Lots of title fights.
Lots.
Which is why we're questioning that January 22 card with the heavyweight and the middleweight title, because we were listing like, fuck, all these titles are getting defended right now.
Yeah.
For the Who's going to be defended in February?
At the end of October, there's multiple being.
Multiple. Then, November 6th,
multiple. A week later.
Multiple.
December, multiple. 3, to be exact.
Yeah. Figueiredo Moreno.
Yep. Julian Pena, Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
And then Dustin
and Charles.
Which is officially signed.
Yeah, officially signed. That's the other big news. Are you rolling with Dustin?
Probably.
You think so?
Yeah.
I've been, no doubt, and I know you have too, on the Dustin train, but I was watching the Chandler Oliveira fight again the other night and thought, Charles probably don't get enough credit. I heard them doing their little spiel about the most fights ever before a title fight, like he had really grinded and da-da-da. And I thought, it would not be shocking if he choked Dustin out like it was nothing. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't, because he's like, that's his specialty. And it wouldn't be crazy if Dustin dropped him like Charles always seems to drop. But now that quitter Charles, the one that like tapped out to strikes back in the day, that ain't the same guy. The guy, he's an awesome dude. He's a sweet dude.
You know what it is, don't you? It's the blonde hair.
It is the blonde hair. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but
I don't know. They figured
Brunson's
something
unstoppable.
out. That hair dye.
Yeah, Kevin Holland needs to do it.
Yeah, he does.
God damn, boy. Broke my heart, man. Broke my heart.
When I seen Johnny Walker with that, I'm like, holy shit, I may need to change my bet.
Yeah, well, yeah. I remember you saying that to me in a text when they were walking out, and I said, nope, beard's still black. He's going to sleep. Yeah. Yeah, what a shitty fight. I don't even want to think about it again. All right, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's it for me.
I'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next week.